So for this assignment, I actually did have some extra functionality, added some new features. Let's start off with part one. We'll go. I'll just go ahead and talk about the update. To update one customer. So, for example, what I did was that I added another like data grid right here, which takes in a bunch of it's it's kind of like pulls the name right here and just update it, like update the name and the state. It's two letter only. All right, let's go ahead and demo that. All right, so for example, we want to modify this customer 1002. So what I did was that I added another load button. It should load all the data from here. Yep, perfect. After it loads, it just pulls in this automatically. All right, and then we want to update. Let's say we give it a name. Let's do my name, Seattle, Washington. After we click update, yep, 2002, 1002 becomes this new updated one. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and walk through the code we built. All right. All right. So the load customer row. So it fetch only one customer from the customers table, our database. So for this line right here, it just technically creates a local table to hold the results. This next one is kind of like connections or what kind of data we pull from, like the condition that we get from the customers table. It just queried and returned exactly one row from the customer table, matching where customer ID is equal to ID. Yep. So yeah, it just prevent duplicate as well. Just simple stuff, and then we can move on. So after everything, kind of like, and then it's gonna fill in the data in the grid. So same thing. Yep, it just for this line just return the row when found. Otherwise, nothing. Return nothing. All right, and then we're gonna walk through the run update customer ID. So essentially, the purpose of this whole sub right here is to call the store procedure dbo.fa25 and sb update customer to update the one customers. So just this is just scope the connection, and then this is the connection where we get the data from. And these are the parameters: customer ID, first name, first and last, just simple. Yeah. All right, and then we can move on to the button. All right, this is the button, the low button that I demo before, which is this one, this low button. So it's essentially what it does is that it's just clear. If we click on it, it's gonna clear the old status and move on to the next line like this. It's gonna return enter a valid customer ID. Let's say for example, we just we have nothing. We click. Okay. Yep. We have nothing. It's gonna return enter a valid customer ID, and that after that we move on to this. If let's say we enter put in like a random. Yep, then it's gonna return customer not found. If R is nothing, like nothing within the table. Okay, and otherwise, if all the conditions met, like it matches the customer ID, will return the first name, last name from the store procedure, and it's just gonna send a message loaded. And the update purpose of this to protect the sub. This whole sub right here. Purpose is to validate ID called update SB with the trim values, and then after that refresh the grid, then report status. So technically, just after we click update, if there's not a valid customer ID, just kind of if it's empty like this, gonna have enter a valid customer ID. If every condition met, it's gonna run this sub, run update customer, and then it's gonna trim it. Then customer is gonna show customer updated. After that, we refresh the grid, the customer grid. We just refresh this one right here, and return the actual value that we input in here. And the clear is super simple. Just empty out everything. All right. Can go ahead and move on to Cool Hotel Part 1. Essentially, is the same thing. This is gonna be a quick demo. I added right here on the guest. Okay. Technically the same logic. So we want to update 4002, which is John update 4002. After that, we load it. Yep, should return the data. Let's say we just have it as Jonas. See, contact info. Just leave it right now. Perfect. It should update the. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it should change. The clear button should work. Yeah, perfect. What do the code? All right. So essentially, this one, let's see, low gas. Yep, same thing as the other one. It just to run a parameterized like select options, I would say, and return like single data row or nothing. We have taken the parameters, this sub, just taken the parameter and then update it. This is the load. If nothing, enter a valid guest ID. And if we have something input, for example, low, guest not found, perfect. If all the condition pass, of course, return it and update the table. Then it's gonna move into the next sub. This is the update button. It's gonna up after all the conditions met, like guest ID matches, we'll update. The clear essentially just return nothing. All right. Okay, and then onto the bigger part. Okay, where is it at? Okay, this is so for part B, what I did was that I have an archive, like to essentially let's see. Yep, it just essentially have the reorder function, reorder line. Like, say for Shopify, we need to, let's say we run out of stock, we need to reorder. Of course, this is the function for it. And then this is gonna be the reorder queue, and archive old sales, which is gonna have, let's say our database is getting super full, and then kind of want to clear out like want to remove some line items or some cells in the past. We kind of put into an archive database or table, which is I created. All right. One second, let it load. I put it in the ops tool. So essentially, I have this default as 30 days back. 30 means we measure the real demand over the last 30 calendar days. For that, this is the new function that I made working through the part B. For each product, we kind of sum the units sold in that window, then compute the average daily demand. So technically we have average daily units equal units sold in the last 30 days and then divided by 30, which we get this number targets. So and days of cover, the 14 means the next purchase should comfortably cover the 2 weeks of demand. So the suggested reorder quantity equal the ceiling and of the average daily units times 14. For example, we suggest, say we pick one of these. Let's say this one is technically sold 70 units, and we only have like 80 on hand. Suggested day. Yeah, it's just automatically kind of, let's say we suggested. All right, so we have, in order to recover, to have more to meet the demand, we need 30 reorders, 33 of these to reorder, and 10 of these. So after that, let's say we pick this, then this, we create a reorder lines. All right. As you can see, yeah, we have the reorder queue in here, 33 quantity of 33 and tens of dark chocolates in order to meet the demand. That's gonna go into the queue. And archive cells and super uh, essentially just kind of, let's say we want to put all the cells before this day into the archive table. All right, yep, so all right, it's gonna return this. This is the new table I made in the SQL Server. It's gonna put all these cells right here into the archive cells table. Right, this is the archive one. This is all the cells before all of before 11 before 11. As you can see, it's a bunch of cells. All right. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, so within that ops tool, we have the reorders and archiving functionality. So essentially, private sub bind reorder to suggest. Purpose of this is to call the suggestion with the user input, show the result in the grid. Default day is going to be 30. Default day of the cover of the stock is 14. Yep, and just kind of this line, just pass the two numbers into the store procedure, and then just reorder suggest data, just bind to the data source of the grid that we have, or the input. What the user's gonna see from this kind of sub is a list of products with computed already computed. This is already computed. This one, it's already computed, like automatically, as long as we load the page, kind of like this. So we know we need 33s of this. It's kind of hard to explain, but yes. All right. Well, let's say we put a new target days to cover. Forgot. So we need 10 days. Yeah, just compute 24 quantities. Depends on this. This is 30 days back, about 10. Yep, if it's 10 days back and 10 days to recover, no, we don't need any. We already have 80 on hand, so we don't need any to reorder right now. But this one, we need 20 of them, dark chocolate. Okay, the bind reorder. Yeah, just technically select from the reorder table which we recreated, which is going to be this one, reorder queue. Bind to the GV reorder to this the data grid that we created in ASP.NET, and this is going to be the archive cells grid. Going to be this one, all of this. Actually, this, yeah. Just select top 200, sales summary archive, order by sales ID, descendant, bind to archive summary, and archive details, which is detail is gonna be this one. Detail right here. All right, this is going to be the button suggest. First of all, just suggest reorder click. All right, purpose of this sub is recompute the suggestion grid flow. This is going to be empty, the message, then bind reorder suggest, and on success we will have suggestion refresh, and then if on error on exceptions it show like an error. And now the button create reorder click. This is where all the magic is. Purpose is loop check rows, read product ID, and T like the quantity, and call the FA. I remember. Yep, it calls this store procedure in the back end. For okay, so this is going to loop through each row in GB reorder suggest rows, scan the grid rows, and then this we will skip if not checked, and if the only rows the only rows that I selected get created, which is essentially kind of like this. This is each row, 1, 2. So we selected 3. Only these ones are selected. Alright. The archive click calls the archive with a cutoff date, and it show feedback and refresh the archive grid. Okay, and this right here just protect against the bad input. If a bad input is gonna return this stuff. Let's say a bad input like this. Yep, I'm gonna return this message. Okay, and okay, let's see. Yep, the bind archive. Essentially just kind of. Oh wait, I forgot to explain this one. This one right here. Okay, just call the store procedure that does the copy, verify, and delete it from the backend from SQL Server. Right, barn archive. Simple. Select from archive tables to visualize what we got moved. All right, navigation. All right. Yep. We have the navigation, which is we added on the new one. Okay, I think that's the new function that I created. Hopefully it makes sense, but yeah. So essentially, just want to re-explain this. Just kind of. So every like store, we kind of have to like reorder when the stocks are low, and this is kind of automatically compute what we need, what we need to order, how much we need to order, and the archive, of course. Every store procedure. I mean, every like online shop have this where they can store archive data and then they can go back in it. All right, thank you so much.